I believe we deserve to be treated well in the workplace. But in an ever more complex world, sometimes it can be hard for our organisations to know what to do in order to get us there. It can lead us feeling as if we've got one of two choices. Either we stay silent and do nothing, or we take a more legal and formal route. But what if there was a third option? What if we could use our experiences to build upon our skills, improve our emotional intelligence, and even learn how to manage and lead? We believe that that option exists, and we call it the Duck Project. The aim of the Duck Project is twofold. Firstly, we want to help employees identify, understand, and then address the experiences that they're having in the workplace. Secondly, we want to gather some big data so that we can help organisations understand what their employees really need in terms of support to help them overcome those barriers that they're facing. The duck system is based on a really simple set of principles. So you imagine a duck as a unit of energy, and you have, say, 30 units of energy which you have to give away each day. Now, something just a little bit irritating might just take away one duck, but something sort of catastrophic that sort of compels you to leave the workplace, that would take away 10 ducks. So if we take the day in the life of the average employee, the drive to work, say you have a bit of an altercation with someone, that might take up 3 ducks. So you get into work and your boss is just furious about something and takes it out on you. That might take away 5 ducks. Maybe the printer stopped working. That's 1 duck. So you see, that kind of builds up over time. Now imagine you're part of a different group of people. So for these examples, I'm going to use my experience as a woman in construction, but it doesn't have to be that. It's anything really that can differentiate you from the main group. So that might be your race, it might be your working class status, it might even be that you are a remote worker, so you don't get to interact with the people that you work with as much. Doesn't really matter, just anything that gives you a difference, either visibly or something that you self-identify with. So as a woman working in construction, some of the experiences that I might have had that differed to some of my male peers might have been being given a bit more admin work. 1 duck. Maybe somebody swearing in front of me. No ducks. Somebody apologising for swearing in front of me. 2 ducks. Because that reminds me that I'm seen as a woman first and an engineer second. Maybe I'm in a meeting and my comments aren't really taken on board, but then 10 minutes later they're repeated by a colleague, and they're not just discussed then, but they're also minuted as his comments. That might take away 3 ducks. Maybe a client refers to me as love, while referring to somebody that I work alongside by their name. Another 2 ducks. So as your ducks get taken away from you, you can start to feel more stressed, because you're starting to worry about the amount of ducks that you have left, as opposed to being able to fully focus on your work and the other things around you. What's important to recognise is that discrimination and inappropriate behaviour is sometimes, but rarely, one big incident. More often, it's a collection of smaller things that build up over time, like death by 1,000 paper cuts, until it just takes away all the energy that we have and leaves us in a position where we're feeling stressed or even apathetic. When it reaches the point where we have no ducks left to give, what can often happen is that one small thing, one tiny incident, can make us react disproportionately, which can be really confusing and hard to understand, and other people might not appreciate exactly why you've reacted that way. The aim of the Duck Project is twofold. Firstly, we want to help employees identify, understand, and then address the experiences that they're having in the workplace. Secondly, we want to gather some big data so that we can help organisations understand what their employees really need in terms of support to help them overcome those barriers that they're facing. We know that this is not ideal, and we would much prefer that organisations would be able to act now and swiftly to be able to resolve all of the problems that all employees are having across the UK. But in my 12 years working in this specific arena, I found that it is rarely the case that an organisation is able to provide that level of support. And so we as employees need something now. to bridge that gap to improve our working lives rather than waiting around for somebody in the hope that they might be able to do it for us. Now, as you may have noted, part of the Duck Project is around collecting data in order to feed that back to organisations. But we need to be very clear here. It will only ever be big data that we give back to organisations. Our first priority is always the individual employee, protecting them and ensuring their anonymity. We have a number of measures in place designed to protect both you and your data. But we do need to collect that big data in order to show organisations the changes that they need to make and give them the evidence to back that up. So what exactly is the Duck Project? Basically, it's an online tool that will allow you to log in all of the different instances and events that you encounter on a day-to-day basis. You can put in as much information or as little information as you want. The more you enter, the more we'll be able to give back to you in forms of analysis and feedback. Not only will you put in the instances that have occurred, you'll also put in some supporting information if you choose to, plus the number of ducks each event has taken away from you and any possible or likely impact that that might have had. From there on in, you'll receive back different information depending upon your subscriber level. So everybody will be able to access the system and also return a percentage rate of the number of different people in the workplace that have encountered the same challenges as you had, and if those people for any particular groups. Fully subscribed members will also receive a statistical breakdown of the information that they've put in. This breakdown will allow them to make some informed choices around which areas they should tackle first. They will also be provided with a return on investment sheet, which will tell them which areas we believe will have the biggest impact if they're addressed, and some tools and ideas around the different things they can put in place to overcome those challenges that they're faced. Organisations that partner with us will receive the big data around what employees are putting in regarding the challenges that they're facing in the workplace and the impact that that has on them, allowing them to get a real in-depth understanding of their employees and to be able to benchmark that across other organisations in their sector and outside of it. We will also provide organisations with the ability to upload policies and initiatives so that their employees can comment on the usefulness and whether or not they knew they existed in the first place, helping employees streamline and make sure that everything that they do is actually practical. Our ambitions for the Duck Project are really big. We want to help create truly inclusive workplaces where everybody feels happy and valued and supported. But we can only do that with your help and your support. Not just in terms of the money raised by this Kickstarter, but also having you contribute to the site, share it with your friends, and tell people about what it is that we're trying to do. We genuinely believe that workplaces should work for everyone, and we really think that we can be part of helping make that happen. We really hope that you think so too. Thank you.